Hey, this is Jamie from the Crimson Training Room. I've been approached from many of you guys regarding the use of caffeine as a training aid. Before we get into any specifics of caffeine use, the benefits, the negative aspects of it, and the NCAA's position of caffeine use, the first thing to understand is that the NCAA has deemed caffeine as a stimulant. That's important because it's a banned substance in the same way cocaine is, or Adderall, or any of the type of stimulants that they've deemed that they're going to ban. This doesn't mean you can't have a cup of coffee or iced coffee or anything, but the NCAA does have restrictions on the amount that's allowed in your blood if you were to be tested. That's pretty important. We'll get to that in a second. If there's any supplement you are ever interested in taking, please make sure you see me or any of the coaches on our team staff or any of the athletic team staff, and they will definitely guide you in the right way in which supplements that you would be able to use and supplements that you're not going to be able to use whatsoever. So getting on to this, some of the benefits of caffeine. Caffeine has been heavily researched, and it's shown to basically increase performance in a few ways. It can increase the endurance of an athlete to perform at a higher level in the weight room, allowing for higher intensities and a higher repetition. So if you're working out and you're able to get more time in there and more intensity, of course that's going to improve your athletic performance, and that's kind of a good thing. It also it also aids in basically leaner mass and muscle mass. It can also aid in running any of the aerobic exercises or aerobic sports. It can last for caffeine has a life about 20 minutes beyond your normal limits. So caffeine has also been shown to lessen the feeling of feeling sore and fatigued, and that's a pretty good thing because that allows you to train a little bit harder. It also helps increase reaction time, and it also aids in the feeling that you're being alert and you're really, what I'd call on. You're having an on time. It can also aid in a higher metabolic rate to aid in weight loss. I know this all sounds great, and I'm sure as an athlete everybody would like to use it, but unfortunately, again, like I said, the NCAA is definitely has this as a banned substance, which we're going to talk about the levels and a few other things as soon as we get to that part. Some of the disadvantages of caffeine, as with any supplement, it's not a miracle, and it definitely doesn't replace hard work or hard training. So one of the biggest things of it, if it's too much of it, is that it can bring on headaches, feelings of anxiety, restlessness, especially if it's taken over 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. Is when you're going to start seeing these adverse effects. It also doesn't hit everybody the same way. So if you're someone that's been using, let's say, energy drinks or higher caffeine, you're drinking a lot of coffee, heading to Starbucks a lot, you're definitely going to, you may be someone that's going to not respond to caffeine use as a training aid. So it definitely does have its limits. So other than that, there are also other products that can be in some of these energy drinks. Well, we're talking about energy drinks as far as guarana is something that is found a lot in energy drinks, especially Monster, Rockstar, a lot of these energy drinks. And unfortunately, guarana is also on the banned substances. So you have to be pretty careful. Again, if you're going to take any supplement or any of this type of stuff, please see one of our coaching staffs there. The type of athletes, any athlete that's basically looking to increase strength, increase endurance, increase lean muscle mass, caffeine can definitely aid. I'd say a lot of these athletes, except for the athletes that don't respond to this type of an aid, which was mentioned before. And basically the NCAA guidelines on this, again, it's not that you can't have a cup of coffee in the morning if you're going to have a bagel or something of that nature. I'm not saying you can't have a cup of tea. I'm not even saying that you can't have an energy drink, but they do have their levels and what they're looking for. In any urine concentration that is going to be over, I think it's 15 micrograms per milliliter, is definitely going to show up as a positive test. And basically that's going to equate to about 5 to 8 cups of coffee anytime within 3 hours of your event. So if you're going to be getting tested, and unfortunately you've been drinking a lot of coffee or you're just experimenting with caffeine, you will test positive, and it is definitely a banned substance, and the ramifications of that are pretty serious as far as being suspended or even worse. So we definitely want to stay out of that. So now that we know the ways caffeine can help you, some of the disadvantages to caffeine, the NCAA stand on caffeine and the levels that they're looking for, You know, caffeine definitely has its place, it seems, in training through research. However, the NCAA, which is one of the only agencies that does ban caffeine, believe it or not, FINA and the World Doping Association do not. And I can tell you, as a strength coach in U.S. swimming, I don't believe that it's a banned substance on the same lines as creatine. So they're not banned substances, although I can tell you, as a coach, I'd rather see hard work, but that doesn't mean that if something's not beneficial, an athlete can't take advantage of it. So anyways, this is Jamie signing off. This was Module 5 video assignment for caffeine and its effects on NCAA basketball players. Thank you.